Hello, my name is Mark Santolucido, and I am the instructor for the Computing in the Arts section of COMS 1002, Computing in Context. So I want to use this time just to give a little bit of an overview for what Computing in the Arts is in the Computing in Context course and what you can expect if you sign up for this section. So the context part of Computing in Context lasts about 6 weeks, and in the arts context we have 3 modules. Those 3 modules will each last roughly 2 weeks. Initially, we're going to start with visuals, and here we're going to explore generative art and algorithmic creativity. Then we're going to move on to audio, and here we'll be exploring live coding, which is a performance practice of code. We're going to turn our laptop into an instrument and create real-time performances of music with our coding skills. And then finally, we're going to be looking at physical computer, where we're going to be connecting our code to the physical world using a microbit, similar to what you see here. So let's go through each of these modules briefly, just to give you a sense of what's to come. So first we have our processing our visuals, and we're going to be using processing.py. And this is a language that's very similar to Python. There's just a few extra features included that will make it easier for us to create visuals such as this. The key question we're going to be asking are, can computers be creative, and what does it mean for a computer to be creative? And we're also going to be asking, how do we use computation to guide, augment, and/or inform our creative impulses? So you might be creating something similar to this, or you might be creating something totally different. It's really up to your own creative vision with the skills that you gain through this unit. Then we'll be moving on to audio, and we'll be doing live coding. So live coding is what you see right here and also what you hear. So we have a performer here, an artist who is actually coding in real time to create the music that you hear. This is called live coding. And this is in a language called SonicPy. SonicPy shares a lot of similarities with Python, but it looks a little bit different. But it still has the same basic idea of loops and variables and all of that. And we're going to be asking questions here such as, how can code be used beyond creating products? We're going to look at code beyond just something that is deployed out to the world, but actually code as a living, breathing, artistic object. And we're going to also, from a technical perspective, be exploring how do we write code that controls data over time. Controlling data over time is not something that we're typically going to address in an intro class, but it brings up some really interesting problems in computer science that will be a lot of fun for us to check out. Then finally, we're going to be moving on to physical computing. And for physical computing, we're going to be using this microbit here. It has, as you can see here, a compass, an accelerometer. It has, I think, a temperature sensor, a microphone, some buttons on it. Lots of fun stuff to play with. This will be a required purchase for this context. It costs about $20, and you'll want to get that well ahead of time for the course. And here we're going to be asking, how are physical digital devices created, and what are some of the challenges in connecting code to the physical world? So as an example, here's a student from a couple years ago who created a lamp that turns on and off as you interact with it by waving your hands around. So again, the computing context module has 3 different components: the visuals, the audio, and the physical computing. I'm excited to welcome you to this section and looking forward to meeting all of you. See you soon.